episode is a work of fictional horror and may contain numerous horror elements, such as mentions of significant bodily harm, death, gore, otherworldly beings and powers, and sudden loud noises. Viewer discretion is advised.
And now, a new chapter begins. For the last 8 weeks, we have been taking every step possible to answer the question on what ended the world. At first, we focused on monstrous creatures like SCP-3480, also known as Olympus Mons, or that massive underwater monster-creating network, SCP-3069, not to mention the singular, all-powerful reality benders. Then, in effect, I stepped out for a week, and upon returning, our focuses reshifted to that of understanding our past and focusing on things that you may encounter out there, things that could, perhaps more innocently, still cause the downfall. We ended this all on the big one themselves, the Foundation. Of course, we don't mean to suggest that the Foundation intentionally caused the end of the world, merely that it held all of these anomalies and that anything could happen within that could have led to this. This gave us an interesting conclusion, though. The origins were mundane at best and alarming at worst. I'm still not sure how much of it I believe, but it is what it is. Now, we are well aware that anything could cause the end of the world, and our search still has over 7,000 cataloged anomalies to consider. So, it's time for a new approach. If we can't figure out what caused the end of the world, we need to ask who. And this is where we turn to Tess. So, Tess, can you tell everyone why you're a good call for this?
Well, I've had unrestricted access to all of the documents and files on GOIs for the past few months. And they're cognito hazards, info hazards, and rituals don't really affect me. So I've had a chance to learn a lot, and I have a list of the ones that seem the most apocalyptic, I should say.
And that isn't to discount Sarah, who herself is a trained Foundation operative in tracking, understanding scenes rapidly, and handling emergencies. While Tess has the background, Sarah can go figure out if what's happening out there lines up with our predictions.
That's me, Agent Sarah, solving mysteries one field hypothesis test at a time. Man, I'm living the dream.
So, for the next few weeks, this is what we're going to do. We plan to find a group of interests that seems more probable in terms of having caused the end of the world, or at least being a problem out there right now. And then we'll go about answering your questions, seeing what's out there in the wild, and going over all the background knowledge that you need to stay alive. So, that's what we're going to do today too. So, Tess, who are we talking about today?
Oh, we're going to talk about Nobody.
What?
What do you mean? We're talking about Nobody.
Tess, this isn't Greece. Please explain.
Okay, fine. The official description of Nobody is, well, okay, little is actually currently known about the person or entity or group that is known as Nobody. Like, it was first seen in 1954, and they've been around since then, like numerous different sightings of them, and there has been only one person seen at any given time. Usually people are like, it's a white guy in a gray suit with a fedora. If asked about his identity, then he will reply that he's Nobody. But, like, no one really knows If it's like a single person or multiple people from one unknown organization, we don't know what they want, what their agenda is. Sometimes they help the Foundation, sometimes they really don't. Generally, caution is recommended. But it's kind of interesting. So let's get into my segment today. We're gonna keep away from the phone calls for a little bit. It's fine. First question. Okay. You keep saying you will talk about... Oh, honey. Okay, you... So you wrote it out GOIs as in like G, like OG, and then O, like oh my, and then I's, like what you have in your head. Oh, that's so not what it is. It's just the letters. It's the letter G, the letter O, the letter I. So, sorry. And then you said, and one's called them groups. What even is a GOI? Why should we care? So, once again, a GOI, GOI. It's what's called groups of interest, GOI. And it's generally like a semi-organized body of like people, so to speak, or I guess sentient beings. Anyway, they're groups of these beings that deal with anomalies and like anomalous beings and anomalous material. They can be pretty good, like the Wilsons that looks after animals, or they can be evil, like the Church of the Scarlet King, or the Sarkic cults. Nobody, as we said, we don't really know what their motivations are by any means. It's just kind of, they're around. I find them vaguely fascinating, so that's why I recommended them for this episode. Next question. Hey, I found this bird on the road near my current shelter. It was by a broken down truck and was screaming something in English about... 'Tis I, Cack, operating non-equine horse, excluding tiptoe hoppers and puppet masters entwine. Blah, 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 blah. But Cack, more snow, white-licious snow. Ugh. He seemed to have a lot of white bags of powder stacked like bricks. What the fuck do I do? It's really goddamn loud and really hurts to listen to. Yeah, so that's just the cack bird. The cack bird is kind of just generally harmless, other than the whole thing of talking louder than a jet engine. So wear earmuffs, I guess, or stay away from it. Also, I know what it sounds like the bird is selling, but the bags are just Dr. Spanko brand cack mix. It's literally cake. It is store-bought cake mix. It is fine. It is not selling drugs. Not these again. You know, we're going to save that for later. We're going to save that for the end of the segment, because I don't want to deal with another one of those stupid CI letters. Okay. Next up. My dad left to search for milk at the local IKEA 3 weeks ago, and he hasn't come back. What should I do? So IKEA isn't really a place where you go get milk. Let's say your dad did go to IKEA for milk and hasn't been back yet. One spot that it could have been was that could have gone to the Infinite IKEA, which is SCP-3008. It's this like alternate dimension that you get sent when you walk in the front door and walking like 20 feet in, and it's this infinite IKEA where the staff are these mannequin robots and they try and kill you at night when the lights are off. Either way, I would say your dad's not coming back. Next question. So objects can be anomalies, so can people. So objects can be anomalies, so can people, places, animals, groups, and fucking concepts. What can't be an SCP, or whatever they're called? How do I even tell the difference? Yeah, basically anything can be an SCP. That's kind of a whole problem. A good way to tell the difference is that an SCP, regardless of kind of everything it may seem at this time, because we talk about them a lot, they're really small in number and relatively rare. And most of the time, they just kind of defy the expectations of how they present themselves, and therefore they're pretty obvious pretty quickly. Or they just flat out murder you in that time, and then you just don't have to worry about it. Yeah, that's the end of it for today. So, stupid CI letter. Have you forgotten, Lizzie? Is that... Okay. You know what? No. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not... You can't send me a fucking family picture with a note like that and think that I'm just going to sit here and... It's bullshit. And... Stop. Okay? Stop being a little prick. We're just moving on. We're gonna go to Sarah's segment.
Wait, so am I understanding this right? The current plan is for me to try and find these groups of interest and see what they're up to out in the world? And the GOI we're investigating today is nobody? An unidentified, undetectable person or persons with no persistent records of existence?
Yeah. It's cool, isn't it? If we can't track it, nobody could have totally done an XK.
Okay, but how am I supposed to find nobody with nothing?
Huh. Yeah, I guess that is a little bit inconvenient. Good luck!
What the frick am I supposed to do? Just go to nowhere?
Actually, that's not a half bad idea. There is a possibility that nobody's temporal existences correlate with, how should I say, empty spaces.
Dr. Robin, I respect that you're a brilliant scientist, but how am I supposed to give a teleporter coordinates to nothing? Nowhere!
Isn't it obvious? Set the coordinates to null and see what happens.
Oh. Well, okay. Let's see what happens then. Hello, survivors of the XK. My name is Agent Sarah, and today we're in apparently the middle of nowhere. Let's see if I can't figure out where the heck I am. Dr. Robin, did the coordinates change to any defaults?
Everything is still coming up null. What can you see around you?
So right now I'm on the side of a highway. There are cornfields stretching out in every direction as far as I can see. But I do think I see some buildings up ahead. It looks like there's a gas station, a bait house, and maybe a water tower down the road.
That water tower should have a location identifier on it. Can you go take a look, Sarah?
absolutely. It just appears to be smaller than average, so I need to get a bit closer to read it. What? You're kidding me.
What is it, Agent?
The water tower. It says nowhere. Oklahoma.
Huh. I guess we really did send you to the middle of nowhere.
Who would have thought that the middle of nowhere would be in Oklahoma?
Well, howdy there, stranger. You're actually not quite in the middle of nowhere. That'd be in the center of our store, right between the pork rinds and the matron.
Oh, hi there. My bad. Sorry.
Welcome. My name's Jerry Howell, mayor of nowhere.
How? Oh, no. Sorry. Hi. My name's Sarah. Could you tell me a little bit more about nowhere, where we are right now?
Speaking technically and legally, you're in nowhere. You're really nowhere at all. As a matter of fact, you're somewhere, but nowhere isn't really on any Oklahoma map, because it's not an official Oklahoma town. So you can say you're somewhere, but unofficially. This is somewhere near the middle of nowhere.
Right. Thank you?
What brings you to our little corner of nowhere, Miss Sarah?
Oh, nothing really. I'm looking for nobody.
You're what? Well, often there is nobody in nowhere, especially as of late, except for myself, my daughter, and my grandson. Nowhere, Oklahoma. Population 3.
No, sorry, that's not what I meant. Have you seen anyone or anything strange around here lately?
Well, you hit the nail right on the nose, Miss Sarah. There's been quite a lot of nobody around here lately. And I suspect it's 'cause folks have been so busy taking shifts watching that head statue that appeared next town over in Gatlin.
Wait, a head statue just appeared in the next town? What does it look like?
Easier if I just show you. It's just down the road from here. Hop in my truck. So where you visiting nowhere from?
I'm from work. I work out of a place called Site 230. It's quite far from here.
Site 230? Huh. That sounds familiar. What did you say your name was again, miss?
Agent Sarah?
Well, I'll be damned out of town. You're that field agent on the radio what's been helping keep us folks alive out here. We called the spooky advice one Tessa the other week for advice about the statue we're heading towards. She said if we don't keep watching it, we'd all be murdered.
Wait, you guys actually listen to our show? That's so wonderful to hear.
Every week. Hey, since you're out here investigating, does that mean you're alive right now?
Sure does. Anything you'd like to say?
Hi, Bert. It's me, Mayor Jerry. Can you believe it? I'm on the radio right now.
Jerry, look out! There's something in the road!
Blasted dogs.
Oh my god, I don't think that was a dog! We better go take a look! Is that a person? Oh, frick! No, wait. The limbs are way too long? And it's really pale and hairless? It looks like the Shy Guy, SCP-096? And it's definitely dead. Holy frick, its throat has been slit?
What is it, Sarah?
Jerry, please get back in the truck immediately. It's not safe. It really must be 096. But that's a medium-high threat Euclid class. How could someone manage to do this?
Oh, look, it's just the spooky white lanky bastard that's been following Bert around. Good riddance, I say. Those Gatlin folks need to stop leaving their garbage in the middle of the road. Somebody's gonna get hurt.
Wait, have you seen this thing before? Have there been others like this around?
Oh, sure, for the past few months this place has been crawling with all kinds of spooks. Wait, what'd you call them? Skips. But Gatling guns have been doing a fine job of clearing them out. I just wish they'd stop leaving that garbage around everywhere. See, look, there's even a suitcase lying here on the side of the road, too. Fools must have left it here to get all battered and scuffed up. That's just not how you treat good leather.
Stop, please don't touch that. Jerry, it's covered in blood.
Well, it ain't gonna do anyone any good lying out here. Let's open her up.
Please, just let me. Okay, this just looks like personal effects. There's socks, 2 pairs of pants, a shirt, a belt, and... What? 668? Where the frick did you keep coming from?
What is it?
Oh, this? It's just a totally ordinary chef's knife. Nothing anomalous to see here.
Look at that, a rosewood handle, full tang construction. Well, that's just a fantastic piece of workmanship. You should keep a close eagle eye on that, Sarah.
Jerry, please can we get going? I just really need to see the folks in Gatlin immediately.
Now, I don't know what all the hurry is, but if you're pressed for time, well, Gatlin's just on the other side of this field here. Usually we take the long way and drive around, but I think there's a shortcut nearby somewhere.
Perfect. I think we should get there as soon as possible.
We just need to find the spot where the corn stalks have been bent over. Ah, here we go. Follow me.
Oh man, it's hot in here. It's a lot darker than I was expecting it to be too. Jerry, are we almost there?
Almost. Gosh, who would have thought the Agent Sarah in our cornfields?
I'm flattered, but it's really not a big deal. We're just trying our best to keep you folks out here alive. Hey, what was that? I think I heard rustling over there.
Oh, that's probably just a gust of wind.
Ah! What was that? A man in a white suit? Over there!
I don't see anything. Now, why would there be a man, in a white suit no less, in these cornfields? It would be deathly hot and his attire would get all dirty.
Yeah, you're right. That makes no sense. Nope, I definitely saw something. We're getting the frick out of here.
You really shouldn't run in here.
Come on, I see a clearing up ahead. What's in the middle of the field? It looks like a scarecrow? No, wait. Is that the plague doctor? Mounted on a crossbar? Jerry, what the hell is this?
Well, that's Bert. Hi, Bert. How's it hanging?
Jerry, I'm going to need some answers right now. What is that doing up there?
Well, Bert's up there doing what all good scarecrows do. Keeping away the pests. And who's Bert? Well, I guess he's exactly what you're looking for. He's nobody.
Jerry?
Well, nobody any importance. Especially compared to you. Super, cool, smart, field agent Sarah.
Please don't say that.
Who would have thought the Agent Sarah in our cornfields? Bert gets the job done, but just imagine all the skips you'd be able to keep away.
What are you implying there, sir?
Just that you do the very thing you said you were out to do here. Keep us folks out here alive.
Hey! Let go of me! Get away from me! He's gone. Where the frick did he go? And where's Bert? The field is just empty? I'm alone. In the middle of nowhere. I'm all alone. Ah! The migraines! Dr. Robin, I need to come home. Now!
Sarah, are you alright? What happened?
It was nothing, Dr. Robin. Nothing with nobody in nowhere. Now, if you'll excuse me, I think I need to go lie down.
Alright, well, with that, it's my turn. By this point, you're sure to know a bit about who Nobody is and what they can do as a quote-unquote organization. So now it's my goal to inform you a bit more formally and give you the Foundation's knowledge on them. First, an overview and a letter to the Foundation from Nobody. Forward. The following document was recovered by Agent on 1954. Claims he was given the note by another agent whom he did not recognize. Full account of the incident can be found in document GOI-006-001. Nobody. First appearance. The text details information on the supposed group or individual entity referred to as Nobody. The information is vague and inconclusive. Known information includes 1. No two individuals operating under the alias Nobody have been seen active at the same time. 2. Frequently, though not always, Nobody appears to be an elderly male human of European descent, dressed in a gray or black suit. 3. Nobody often provides unwarranted assistance to the Foundation. In other cases, Nobody will attempt to undermine the Foundation. And 4. Nobody is generally non-violent and non-hostile towards Foundation personnel. Agents are required to immediately report any individual matching this description or self-identifying as Nobody. Caution is recommended when dealing with this entity. Command will decide appropriate reaction to Nobody on a case-by-case basis. The original text is as follows.
Dear sirs and madams of the Foundation, I hope that this letter finds you well. You did not know who I am yet, however I fear that our paths will cross many times in the future. I am sending you this letter with the wish that our relationship will not be entirely hostile. Of course I know that your organization can never officially adopt a policy other than open conflict with me, simply due to my very nature. For this reason, I hope to address not the Foundation as an organization, but as a group of individuals. On those inevitable days that we meet in the field, I hope that you will remain amicable to me. It is for the safety of you and yours that I ask this. In order to demonstrate my goodwill, I will endeavor to reveal some truths about myself. In this career, as you surely understand by now, secrets are a form of strength, and I hope that this debilitation will be a gateway towards copacetic relations. Surely the first question you must have is the question of who I am. Unfortunately, this is a difficult answer for anyone to give, and perhaps more difficult for me than most. All I can say is that you will recognize me. The next question, as to my objectives, is equally difficult to respond to. Often you will find that our goals will overlap, and I will attempt to assist you. And other times we will surely be in conflict. I hope that you will not cause these conflicts to escalate beyond what is necessary. And now the final question, and perhaps the most important and enlightening one. My motivations, or why I am doing this. Here at last is an answer I can give without imprecision. I am not whole in the way that others are. I am not significant in the way that others are. I am unable to affect the world in the way others are. In the most literal sense, I am a person without importance or influence, a nobody. All my efforts are an attempt to resist my very nature and undermine these truths about myself. Like all sentient beings, I desire my existence to have meaning. I would also like to inform you that I currently act alone. However, it has come to my attention that there may be others that share my unique qualities. In the future, I hope to work alongside them, although it is equally likely that I will always be merely an individual. At this moment, I am certain that you are beginning to question the veracity of this letter and the information that it provides. This could be a trick or a falsity orchestrated by one of your many enemies. Unfortunately, I cannot offer any evidence other than my word. You will have to concede on faith that I exist and that this information is accurate. However, I do hope that you will take my message to heart. Fate may have set us at odds, but that does not mean that we have to accept it. With all due respect, a nobody.
And now, with that knowledge set, maybe it's more useful to teach by tale. Thus, I now present SCP-5877, Nobodies. Item number, SCP-5877. Object class, Keter. Special containment procedures. Worldwide birth record databases are to be routinely copied onto Foundation servers to maintain a centralized hub of all persons with a recorded identity. It is Foundation protocol to assume that any individual is an SCP-5877 instance until one of the following conditions are met. 1. The individual processes photo identification. 2. The individual is verified to own a web-based account. Or 3. The individual is confirmed to match an entry in the Foundation Entity Database. Recovered SCP-5877 instances are to be treated as civilians. They are to be amnesticized and reintegrated back into society. Description: SCP-5877 refers to a collection of human-like entities. Identical to regular people in every other way, these entities share the following characteristics. 1. The origin of SCP-5877 instances, if any, is unknown. 2. The identity is unknown. 3. The instances lack any record of their prior existence. And 4. Until 2007, all recovered instances were deceased. SCP-5877 instances are susceptible to potential membership of GOI-006, Nobody. The majority of SCP-5877 instances discovered by the Foundation were dead at the time of recovery. It is acknowledged that a significant number of these cases are indistinguishable from non-anomalous humans that have simply been damaged beyond recognizability. However, there have been significant cases of SCP-5877 instances that have led the Foundation to label the overall phenomenon as anomalous. Some such cases are below. In 1970, a fire burned down 14 homes on Maple Street, Redland, California. The normalcy breach was that evacuation of these homes was recorded as successful, with only 2 individuals unaccounted for. However, disaster response teams indicated the remains of the homes that found over 60 bodies between them. Bodies were found to be largely in bedrooms or nearby burnt mattresses and blankets. In 1984, 2 stillborn children were delivered in a Dublin hospital. The normalcy breach was that previous sonogram of the mother showed only 1 child. And in 1996, Flight 40014 from Xi'an to Shanghai crashed, killing all passengers. The normalcy breach was that the bodies of 30 additional victims were found around the crash that could not be identified, while all people listed on the flight itinerary were accounted for. These instances were found strapped into seats on top of identified passengers. Recoveries of live SCP-5877 instances. Initially, SCP-5877 was cataloged as a phenomenon associated only with dead bodies. In 2007, live instances were discovered, often in groups. The Foundation has located living SCP-5877 instances 3 times since then. Date: 2009. Number of instances: 54. Recovery: Foundation resources heard numerous rumors about a mining operation salvaging weaponizable anomalous materials from a quarry in Texas. While initial investigation did not find significant information to support the rumors, the concerns of a para-terrorism threat spurred a raid of the quarry. The raid did not find any anomalous materials. However, the mining operation was illegal, as it was unsanctioned and made use of slave labor, who were forced to sleep in the quarry. Questioning and processing of the labor force found they were all SCP-5877 instances. Of note, Agent Tyler Maliz reported that, following the raid, he had encountered a young girl who appeared to be watching the event from outside the quarry, taking notes in a bright pink journal. When questioned by Maliz, she acted similarly to an SCP-5877 instance and was escorted to a transport and supposedly brought to a Foundation site. However, she was unaccounted for in the final containment report. Due to her elusiveness and observant nature, it was theorized that the girl may hold connections to the GOI-006 Nobody. Additionally, due to the lack of individual records pertaining to the girl, she was labeled as an instance. Following the processing of these instances, MTF Theta 15, name taggers, was established to deal with identity-related anomalies and interactions with Nobody. Personnel from the quarry raid were inducted as the first selection of Theta 15 members. Date: 2013. Number of instances: 74. Recovery: While tailing Nobody during a heavy rainstorm in Louisiana, MTF Theta 15 encountered a homeless shelter which had reached its maximum capacity. Numerous individuals, both inside the shelter and requesting entry outside the shelter, could neither identify themselves nor match Foundation records. Theta 15 requested Foundation transportation to arrive under the cover story of public transportation sent to relocate some of the homeless to a new shelter. Due to the rush nature of the operation, it is believed that a small number of SCP-5877 instances were not properly recovered. However, due to their status, this was believed to have no significant impact on maintaining the veil. Date: 2018. Number of instances: 37. Recovery: Foundation personnel received numerous tips about couples adopting children who had no given names from a single orphanage in Romania. The adoption process was described by participants as simple and casual. Agent Maliz led MTF Theta 15 in a search of the orphanage under the guise of investigating possible human trafficking. The search met no resistance. All recovered SCP-5877 instances were under the age of 16. No adult instance or baseline humans were encountered. Recovered instances described the owner of the orphanage as a young woman who the younger instances called Big Sis and Miss, and the older instances simply referred to with pronouns. Foundation personnel currently believe that this is the same member of Nobody that was linked to the previous recoveries. Following each recovery of SCP-5877 instances, they were amnesticized, supplied with a name and personal history, and recorded in both internal Foundation databases as well as relevant government systems. Nobody capture. On July 18th, 2023, Nobody was contained after robbing a Cold Stone Creamery in Longmont, Colorado. MTF Theta 15 tracked Nobody to a nearby hotel, where she was detained with no resistance. Following the Nobody GOI project coordinator, the International Affairs Specialist, and the SCP-5353 project lead, MTF Theta 15 Captain Tyler Maliz was permitted to interview Nobody regarding the capture.
It's been a long time since I've felt so popular.
So why'd you let us catch you?
Oh, come on. Even the egghead entertains some small talk.
We've spent decades chasing you, and this is the first time we've caught you. And it was all because of a sloppy smash and grab where all you took was a goddamn ice cream cake. You're here for a reason.
Ooh, so that's where I've seen your face before.
So you recognize me?
Only vaguely. I'm good with faces, not so much names though, so I could still use an introduction. It's much harder to have a chat with someone if you don't even know their name.
Fine. I'm Tyler Maliz.
I'm sensing some pent-up resentment. Are you annoyed that I've been evading you this long?
You bit my mother 50 years ago.
So, first of all, I don't remember that. But secondly, I feel like judging me by any actions I may or may not have taken 50 years ago is not a very charitable interpretation of who I am today.
You make a bad first impression.
So that probably was me, but not like me sitting here.
Now you're changing the topic. Why are you here?
You don't just expect me to tell you everything. Where's the fun in that?
Okay, fine. Where are your people then?
Oh, my people?
Every time we've seen you, there's always been people like you around. People without names, identities, anything beyond their bodies, really. Like you.
I'll be honest, I didn't expect the rude field agent to ask the most interesting questions of me today.
You're deflecting.
Alright. I know it would be easiest for me to tell you, but I can't.
Do you have a reason why?
It's against the rules.
Do you have a reason that's not bullshit?
You ever wonder why I only ever lead you to things but never tell you? Or why you never see me really doing anything? But you and I both know that I get things done. It's like a universal handyman, or handywoman this time.
I don't see how that's a reason.
The best janitor is the one who keeps an office clean but is never seen around a mess. And no one in their right mind keeps a close eye on a plumber when he's fixing your pipes. If you see me doing my job, then I'm not really doing all that good a job then. And if I tell you how I can change the roof tiles, then you'll think you can do it yourselves and only to fall off your house and break your neck. Those are the rules of being a handyman.
This is the best I'm getting out of you today, isn't it?
It's a much clearer answer than I gave to anyone else today. You could show at least a little gratitude.
I'll be taking my leave then.
Recovered items. At the time of recovery, Nobody was carrying the following items: a .45 caliber Glock 30 with the serial number filed off, a Swiss Army knife, the long blade, short blade, can opener, and wire stripper are all worn from heavy use. The screwdriver tool has been sharpened to a point and is stained with blood. A leather jacket. It does not appear to be washed within the past 90 days. An IHOP rewards card. And a pocket journal. Most of the pages have been torn out. Scans of the remaining entries are presented below.
Cataclysm TG 442, July 14th. Arrived at Cataclysm location. Town hasn't changed much. Cause of Cataclysm, pending Rule 1 violation. Due to size and congregation of Flock 551, violation of Rule 1 is imminent. Size also prohibits natural reintegration. Intervention appears to be required. Current tailing entities, SCP White Suit. July 15th. Current messenger is running threadbare. Need to find replacement. And preferably a suitable depot. Located flock is spread out in nearby park. Locals have taken notice, however currently believe them to be a summer camp of sorts. Worried about night owls asking questions. No disruption events of note, yet. Tailing entities, SCP White Suit, Mrs. Englewood, surprised she still lives here. July 16th. Messenger is beginning to dissociate. Worried about recurrence of Rule 1 violation. Leukocytes converging on Flock 551. Car accident on Highway 33, most likely a disruption event. Barely anyone drives on that road. Hard to believe 2 of them got into a head-on-head. Need to temporarily hide Flock without breaking Rule 4. Tailing entities. SCP, White Suit, Mrs. Englewood. July 17th. No sign of White Suit in 2 days. I definitely didn't lose him. Suspect interference attempt soon. Direct interaction with Mrs. Englewood successful. Rule 4 overcome. Englewood agreed to store Flock 551 in her barn. Used public transit in combination with Miss Englewood's truck to transport the flock. Surprise buses are allowed. Then again, those drivers have probably seen stranger things. Worried about disruption event escalation. Currently scouting large-scale reintegration options. May have to go with failsafe. Tailing entities. SCP, White Suit, Mrs. Englewood. July 18th. Sufficient information collected. Predicted cataclysm date, May 22. Current obstacles. White Suit interference, Messenger stamina, Rule 4, ensuring no recursion of Rule 1 violation. Resources. Notebook, Swiss Army knife, .22 caliber with 3 bullets, connections. Lack of notable disruption events has me worried, but it also gives me an idea.
The following is POI-006 Nobody Materials Report. Begin log. After going through the notes left in Nobody's journal, we've been able to locate the residence of one Miriam Englewood. We also found reports of a large number of homeless individuals traveling from Longmont to a stop 3 miles from Miss Englewood's abode a few days ago. If history is anything to go by, the flock is a group of SCP-5877 instances. The problem is, we know that Nobody has a history of tricks and deceit. This wouldn't be the first time they've yanked us around. We're skeptical that they would leave these notes behind for us to find. These feel like something planted. But if they are something planted, why would she call attention to her notebook as a resource? That's bound to make anyone suspicious of its contents. It is due to these concerns that additional interviews with Nobody were held in an effort to gain additional information. A transcript is presented below.
Hello. You know, I was a little worried I wasn't gonna get to have another chat with you.
Your notes mentioned a cataclysm. What is that?
Getting right to it then, are we?
Just answer the question.
Well, I imagine it is pretty self-explanatory. A cataclysm is a bad thing.
I'll be more specific then. What happens when a cataclysm occurs?
No idea.
You mean you don't know?
My job is to stop them. If I ever knew what happened during a cataclysm, that would mean I'd broken the rules.
You're falling back to the rules again.
Is there a problem with that?
You're justifying your ignorance off of something you refuse to explain. It's a crude tactic.
Fine, I'll give you some context. Think of them like physics. We don't really understand parts of it, but it's probably grounded in something.
Now you're deflecting. I need you to tell me what this cataclysm is so we can stop it.
Oh, you're gonna intervene yourself?
We can't let you do it.
I see. Well, if you want to fix it, you can probably just terminate the entire flock.
Excuse me?
Well, you need to clean up after yourselves, but yeah, that'd do it.
Huh.
What did you expect?
Not that. That was a bold call.
Oh, is it now?
Well, you see, in your notes you mentioned numerous times a disruption event, clearly tied to the result of the cataclysm. But now you just told me you have no clue what happens. And given how smug you've been about your record, I'm inclined to believe that means you added those lines to your note when you wrote them down to embellish the impact of cataclysm. Or maybe the cataclysm doesn't even exist, and you just want us to appear at the target's house on a given date.
So you're not going?
Let me finish. Because now, with me taking your word on the cataclysm, you just told me to shoot them? If I really was just taking you at face value, then you'd be condemning those people to death. But you don't think I really believe you yet, and you're banking on that.
And you're explaining all this to me because...
Because if I wasn't reading between the lines right, you would have interrupted me more. You would have cast more doubt on what I'm saying. But none of this leads you to escaping. None of this leads to a large trap. At best, you managed to neutralize some anomalies and a small number of our men. But that's nothing in the grand scheme of things, and you know it.
Which means?
Our interests may align.
You sound so unhappy about this.
You've never been the type to help us.
Now isn't that a self-centered view of it?
Then maybe you can elaborate?
Now it's my turn to imagine a hypothetical. Right now, we believe that there are 7 billion people in the world right now, correct? What if I told you there were actually 8 billion? That 1 out of every 8 people you pass by on the street, see on a subway, or sit near at a restaurant are unaccounted for. That aren't really supposed to be here. That the number of bodies in the world exceeds the number of names. How would we really know?
We don't produce enough resources to sustain an additional billion people.
Okay, fine. Be pedantic. Let's call it 100,000 then. Honestly, it would probably never get to 1 billion anyways. That'd be against the rules.
There's something that actually enforces the rules?
Nothing explicit, but I believe that's what the cataclysms are for.
Penalties for breaking the rules?
I like to think of them as the universe overcompensating for cheating. It can get away with it, though, because no one really cares when a flock dies. As far as the world is concerned, it's just another body to the count. Did you know that there's no meaningful difference between 10 and 20 people dying in a shooting? The counting only matters when the victims have names and lives and connections to the rest of the world. Much easier to kill someone without a name.
That's what you're up to? Protecting these people from the rules?
Is it that hard to imagine that someone who goes by Nobody is the messiah of the nameless? Shepherding my flocks into a new life? I have my rules to obey, but at the end of the day, all I want is to give them proper names so they can live proper lives. Luckily, names are cheap. The only caveat is they must be given to you. And well, I can't give names for obvious reasons.
So you string us along because we can give them a new identity and reintegrate them into society.
You have no idea how happy I am you're assigned to me.
Yeah, fuck you too.
Incident 5877-I. On September 21st, 2019, MTF Theta 15 was deployed to recover proper SCP-5877 instances from the Englewood residence. Below is a timeline of events. 7:14. Theta 15 arrives at the Englewood residence. The team splits into 2 groups, Puma and Cougar. 7:16. Puma knocks on the entrance to the main house while Cougar approaches the barn, which is approximately 100 meters away from the house. 7:17. Miss Englewood opens the door. She appears visibly distressed. Puma members are introduced as a door-to-door salesman and enter the house uninvited. 7:19. Cougar reaches the barn. Members don infrared goggles to validate the presence of SCP-5877 instances. 32 distinct heat signatures are present. It is noted that the barn is unusually quiet given the number of individuals inside. 7:19. Miss Englewood insists that Puma must leave, stating that her husband does not like having visitors this late. It is noted that Miss Englewood lived alone, having divorced her husband 6 years prior. 7:20. Cougar opens a door to the barn. Inside are 31 SCP-5877 instances, as well as a man wearing a white suit, henceforth POI-5877, who is holding a younger SCP-5877 instance and pointing a gun to its head. Also at 7:20, Cougar members demand that POI-5877 release the instance and put down the gun. POI-5877 responds by demanding the location of Nobody. Cougar refuses to divulge the information. 7:21. Miss Englewood grows desperate to remove Puma from her house and attacks one member with a pan. Miss Englewood is subsequently restrained and shouts, "He'll kill me if you stay here," before being sedated. 7:21. POI-5877 begins cursing to himself while keeping his weapon trained on the hostage. Cougar demands that POI-5877 surrender again. POI-5877 backs up towards the rear exit to the barn, using his hostage as a shield. After he leaves through the exit, a single gunshot can be heard. The remaining 5877 instances burst into screams. Cougar runs through the exit to find the instance now on the ground, neutralized via bullet wound. 722. Puma finishes amnesticizing Miss Englewood. 723. Cougar signaled that it is safe for Foundation transports to collect the instances. Following the instance, the 30 instances were brought to Site 23 and held in standard humanoid containment lockers. Preparations were made to begin amnesticization and reintegration on May 23rd. Interview 5877.2. Due to the unexpected presences of POI-5877, Agent Maliz arranged another interview with Nobody the following day to confront her about the unexpected hostile. Begin log.
Now who the fuck was that?
Well, that's not a great way to say hello.
That man in the white suit, why was he there?
I mean, he was part of the plan.
Why didn't you tell me about him?
You were doing so well, I would have felt bad if I pointed out any variables you missed.
He killed one of your people.
Weren't you the one that said a few deaths didn't mean much in the grand scheme of things?
For you wouldn't care about that.
Ah, well, you're right there. But if you really want to know, the man was here because he's my right out of here.
No, I don't believe that. You're messing with me.
I am, but that doesn't mean I'm lying.
Then why are you telling me?
Because that's how I start the next turn.
No.
No, what?
You're not gonna just up and leave. You'll be lucky to see the light of day. This game is ridiculous. You're telling me your plan, so I'm gonna put a stop to it.
That's sort of the problem, though. You can't just stop it. You don't see? It's all part of the plan. Your knowledge of the plan is part of the plan. Every second you spent interviewing me is a second spent delaying something else. Waiting for an email to be delivered to your account. Waiting for one of your lab monkeys to bring by some chemicals. I can't see outside my cell, but I can hear footsteps, the creaking of cartwheels, the chatter of security guards. Everything I've done up until this point is measured to a T.
That's cheating.
Come again?
That's cheating. You're not allowed to say that. Just claim everything that's happened is part of a plan I can't ever verify. It's against the rules. It's a coward's move.
If it was against the rules, I wouldn't be allowed to say it.
Then you're bluffing.
I could be, but does that change how certain you are that Site 23 is still outside that door?
How do you know that designation?
A good plumber knows the house better than its occupants.
Back to the handyman shit again?
I'm sorry you're getting frustrated.
You don't mean that.
I like you, Tyler. I really do. You remind me of your mother. You keep your eye on as much as you can, and you have a good grasp of what you don't know. But today, I need you to doubt. I need you to be my witness, but a careful one.
What the? Did you do this?
Of course not. I've been here, talking to you.
I need an SCP escort. I can't leave this one alone.
But you know, Doctor, you could have been at the breach. It might have been you conducting whatever, observing whatever procedure.
Just stop talking. I'm trying to get us out of here.
Don't worry about that too much. I was just about to take my leave anyways.
Excuse me?
Do take care of the girl. She's done well for me.
Who are you?
That's not important. Who is that?
Who the fuck are you?
We're on the same team today. I promise. I just need to know if you recognize
Please
it.
don't kill me. Please don't kill me.
Wait.
Please.
Nobody was there just a moment ago.
So, you don't recognize it?
No, I don't.
Fuck.
Are you supposed to be the Cataclysm?
Pardon?
Nobody. When they were here, they said something about a cataclysm. About reinforcing the rules of the universe. I'm wondering if they're referring to you.
Son, in the century that I have been hunting that monster, not once have I heard it use the word cataclysm.
God damn it.
Are you okay?
I've been played for a fool, but otherwise I'm fine. You hurt?
No, but I could use some help.
Help you with what?
I don't know. I was just told that I wouldn't be left on my own because there'd be someone around to help me. And the other man left, so it must have been you.
I see. I guess, yeah, I'm gonna help you.
Thank you.
I haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, but no one has even offered before.
The containment breach was deemed to be caused by critical failure of energy containment measures while performing testing on SCP The resulting explosion resulted in 40 casualties, consisting of 3 Foundation staff, 7 D-Class, and all 30 recovered SCP-5877 instances. POI-5877 was later identified to be SCP-5353, who must have entered Site-23 during the breach resulting from the explosion. His oral reports indicate that he rescued several Foundation personnel under trapped debris before exiting the facility. Now, there is a lot more that we could say about the Nobodies, but admittedly, we're almost out of time for today's episode. So, here's the question we have now. Could nobody have caused an XK?
They do give a lot of information on hiding information and memory loss. It is important for people out there, especially since they could encounter these Nobodies.
It is useful information, but I'm not really convinced that they could or would even want to cause an XK. In the files and reports we have, Nobodies seem more like they're the victims, especially compared to the man in the white suit. And even he seems more focused on furthering specific goals. When something big and bad happens, doesn't he usually even help the Foundation?
Fully agreed. So, let's keep up this discussion. It's useful and gives us a lot of data to work with, especially in running a show to help you out there stay alive. Next week, let's do more of the same and discuss more groups that could still be out there, could still be dangerous, and could have caused the end of the world. But before we go, Tess, you're the one that suggested we talk about Nobodies today. So, do you have any other comments before we go?
Anything else? Any other comments? That's such a good, CI is a little asshole and needs to stop sending me letters. Is that... I think that's it. That's all I really want to say, honestly. And if Parker is out there, the station might be closed for official calls for the segment, but you could always call again.
And with that, for those of you out there, as we always say, stay hidden, stay safe, and stay alive. We'll see you next week with our next GOI. This is Dr. Robin and the team, signing off. And as we close, I would like to give a special thank you to those in real life who made this episode possible. In particular, I would like to thank Kevin MacLeod, who did the music that you could hear in this episode. You can listen to his music and more at incomptech.com, as well as our voice actors, Moss, who played the role of Nobody, John, who played the role of Agent Maliz, and Esme, who played the role of POI-5877. As well, I would like to thank the various SCP authors and real-world authors whose sources we used in this video, including YaBoiKen, who wrote the Nobody Hub, Kain Pathos Crow, who wrote SCP-5877, Nobodies, Dr. Clef, who wrote SCP-668, 13-inch chef's knife, Stephen King, who wrote Children of the Corn, which was an inspiration for this episode, and Gary Horcher in the Oklahoman, who wrote the article Oklahoma's Strangely Named Towns. I'd also like to thank my 2 co-hosts, Taya, who plays the role of Sarah, and Kit, who plays the role of Tess.